It's weird. I mean, was a psychologist that talked about anger management. Before I go into that, I wanted to talk about, it's like, my girlfriend and I, we've been together for 5 years, and it's, I love her to death. I really love her to death, and we get along phenomenally. And oh, Jesus Christ! All right, we are as in love as two people in love could be. It's probably it's in love. It's really in love, and not to say we're perfect. We're far from perfect, and things could be better. I mean, on other levels, we could be growing in ways, but we're definitely in love, and we're definitely growing together. I feel that we are. So I think that's a good thing, but I think that, it's amazing how detached, like she comes in here from the bedroom, and she doesn't really know. She doesn't really know what I'm doing, or she kind of knows what I'm doing. It's really hard to explain. The English language is really limited. I really wish I could explain exactly what I mean about the disconnect. I can't really fully explain myself. Haven't you ever wanted to really fully explain yourself to somebody? You really want to get a feeling out so specifically that you want to get this feeling that is it doesn't even feel really complex, but it's strange that you can't really describe it. We all have a certain lack of we all have a certain lack of connection with each other, in the sense that we're so different. We're very different as human beings, and it's interesting when two people in love. It's just interesting to see that between two people in love, and what the canvas looks like. I think I feel like I'm more distant than I should be, because I'm not feeling good about myself these days, and I don't think all the reasons are totally illegitimate. They're definitely not. So your steps 1 through 7 for anger management. Recognize you have a problem. Stop, think, and take a look at the big picture. I mean, that's really, God damn it, that's really the bottom line. Is to recognize exactly what I'm angry about, and that's the scary thing. I just told my therapist about a behavior I've been practicing, where I'm not particularly in touch with my own anger. And I remember talking to him about that years ago, and we were talking about the sniper in Washington D.C. and how he was, doing this horrendous thing where he's shooting people from a long distance, and I was talking to my therapist about it, and he said, that this is somebody who's not in touch with his anger. And I go, that makes, I said at the time, that makes sense. Yeah, somebody who's not in touch with their anger. Thank God I am. And then I go out and behave in a way, not like him, but in a way that, I'm so angry that it's obviously it's behavior that is overwhelming anger. It's anger that I'm not quite. See, I don't really believe that it's not that I'm not in touch with it, but I'm not dealing with it in a way that is practical. I feel like I'm dealing with it like a caged rat, actually. I mean, and I in a way, I blame myself. I said to myself last week, I said, what would you have done if this were 1975 and there were no computers, and there was, you had no computer. I mean, you had a TV and you had a typewriter. That's it. And you had pen and you had paper. And that's interesting to think about. But really, it's these strenuous horrifying, painful feelings, and horrifying is not the appropriate word. Painful feelings that lead to thoughts, these exaggerated thoughts because I'm sensitive, that things are horrific, or that there's, you know, I mean, once upon a time it was a bloodbath. It was like there was an assassination of my self-esteem, and it was very sad and it was very unfortunate. And it's hard for me sometimes to grapple with the fact that that's my hardwiring, because today I have to deal with the fact that my hardwiring is such that, you know, I get myself worked up over nothing. You know, I lose my, I have to organize some paperwork, and I misplace, you know, I misplace a check underneath a piece of paper, or one piece of paper is, you know, the papers aren't in the right order, and I'm screaming as if it's some kind of life and death situation. And I'm calling myself a fucking son of a bitch. And it's strenuous anger. Interesting that he doesn't talk about anger towards self, but I'm sure that that's not too alien. But I've never met another person who expresses anger towards themselves like I do. I just haven't met that person. I don't know that he doesn't exist, or you know, she doesn't exist. But I was practicing just, you know, taking a minute and listening to myself, and breathing, and, you know, meditation and exercise. I can't stress it enough, because when you get worked up like this and you realize it's over nothing, well, that tells you a lot. But I just can't help the feeling that it's frustrating not knowing where to go. Like I'm really in the process where, let's type this out. I'm really in the process where I would like to understand myself and be healthy and happy, and I would like to be able to be happy on a consistent basis and be in love with cinema and act accordingly towards my goals, and in peace and harmony with my fellow human beings, without getting stressed and strained and getting myself into a situation where I feel like taking my neck off with a chainsaw. Period. Yeah, that's good. Save that.